Retirement was supposed to be my victory lap. Then the silence moved in and it didn't leave. Within 6 months, most guys I know are bored, invisible, losing their edge a little more every week. I hit that wall myself, wandering the house, reorganizing the garage that I didn't need to reorganize, wondering why freedom felt like emptiness. I'll show you the exact 4-part mission matrix that tells you if your next chapter is a mission or a distraction, and why the guys actually escape work with purpose, not by grinding harder. The cake was great, the handshakes were warm, and that gold watch felt like a well-earned medal for decades of hard work. You walk out thinking you finally won. And then 6 months later, your calendar goes quiet and the silence starts to feel like invisibility. For 30 or 40 years, your calendar gave you structure, meetings, deadlines, responsibilities, people who needed you. And then one day, it's completely gone. Plenty of guys don't realize that structure was holding their identity and purpose together far more than they ever knew. I started catching myself saying, I used to be more than I wanted to admit. I'd introduce myself as a CTO and talk about running teams. That used to be language became a flashing warning light that I waved around every single day. 3 words. That's all it takes to tell your brain the best is behind you. But I refused to let those words win. But identity isn't the only thing that quietly erodes when the mission disappears. So what goes next? Your body starts erasing itself too. When you have a real mission, your body follows and you show up because something counts on you. When the mission disappears, you sit more, snack more, and sleep worse. It's slow erosion, not a crash. I've watched friends go from sharp and fully engaged to foggy inside of 2 years without any major illness, just because they stopped moving towards something that mattered. The brain needs a reason to stay awake. And don't forget the social shrinkage. Most of your daily conversation came from work, the banter, the collaboration, the shared goals. When that disappears, you realize you didn't build enough real connection outside the job. And loneliness creeps in steady. Retirement was invented back in the 1880s when a lot of guys died before 70. Today, a healthy 60-year-old might have 30 years ahead. That's a second life with no map. So here's what nobody tells you. Most guys try to escape this by staying busier. The fix isn't busier. It's the right thing. And I've got a 4-part framework that tells you exactly what that is for you. Most guys score what they're actually doing right now at under a 10 on the mission matrix, and they don't even know it. Let me show you exactly how it works. Now hold on. Before I show you the matrix, let's kill a myth. This isn't about going back to work. It's not a new job title. It's not staying busy to feel useful. Remissioning means you stop asking what you're leaving and start asking where you're going. Take everything you learned over 30 years and point it at something new. Here's exactly how you find that target. Here's the mission matrix. 4 criteria scored 1 to 5. Energy. Does this actually give you energy, or does it just fill time and leave you unchanged? Contribution. Does it help someone besides you grow? Growth. Does it force you to learn or stretch? And structure. Does it build in rhythm, deadlines, or someone counting on you? You score each from 1 to 5. A 1 means you're going through the motions. A 5 means you're fully alive doing it. Most guys already know which one feels which. Let's say you play golf 3 times a week. Energy is a 4. Contribution is a 1. Growth is a 2. Structure a 3. Nobody's waiting on you. That's a 10. It's a hobby. Now, say you mentor a younger professional weekly. Energy is a 4. Contribution is a 5 because you're changing their path. Growth is a 3. Structure a 4. That's a 16. Now that's a mission. Hobbies are not bad. The point is that hobbies alone score low on contribution because they're built around your own enjoyment instead of someone else's need. A mission pulls you forward. It makes you show up for something bigger than your own comfort. This isn't feel-good talk. A 2019 JAMA Network open study tracked nearly 7,000 adults. The ones with a strong sense of purpose had a lower risk of dying from basically everything. Not just heart disease, not just cancer. And it's not a fluke. A Stanford longevity study found purposeful older adults were 23% more likely to stay physically capable into their 80s. One study is a data point. Two is a pattern you just can't ignore. There's a concept called the third age. It's the stage after your career and before dependency. It used to be 5 years. Now it can be 25. Most guys treat it like an off-ramp. It's actually a launchpad. That's why I treat my morning walks and guitar practice as mission infrastructure, not hobbies. They keep my body and brain alive. Fitness and learning are fuel. Score what you spend most time on right now. Under 12, it's just a pastime. 15 or higher, you've got a mission. 12 to 14, that's your transition zone. You're close, but something's missing. Usually it's contribution. The matrix makes sense on paper. Let me show you what it looks like when two real guys run it. I want to tell you about two guys that I know, both retired with money, health, and time. One drifted, the other found a mission. The first guy, he did everything right on paper. He golfed twice a week, had lunch with friends, took trips, and knocked out home projects. For 6 months, he kept saying, I don't know how I ever had time to work. But the shine wore off. He woke up later. His conversations were about the past. His wife noticed he was around more, but not more alive. He replaced pressure with entertainment, but never replaced purpose. More comfort, less vitality. Same freedom, two completely different endings. The second guy gave himself 90 days. He didn't recreate his old job. Instead, he extracted the best parts of his past judgment. The judgment, the wisdom, the ability to solve problems others still struggle with daily. He mentored once a week, wrote lessons from his career, and volunteered to help a nonprofit. Eventually, he built a project around helping others avoid the expensive mistakes he'd made over 30 years. The funny thing is, he said he felt more like his real self in those first 90 days than he had in the last 5 years at his old job. Less ego, more contribution. Less status, more meaning. His calendar wasn't packed, but it had anchors that held his week together without the old corporate pressure. Tuesday mentoring, Thursday writing, Saturday project work, monthly peer lunch. More freedom, but also direction. He told me the peer group was his secret weapon, not because they gave great advice every time, but because they asked hard questions that cut through his excuses. What are you building? Who are you helping? Questions that kept him honest. Same freedom, same time, same money. One man drifted, the other had direction. He wasn't trying to be who he used to be. He was becoming who he was meant to be next. You don't need a 5-year plan. You need a 90-day experiment. 3 months to test something small that might become your next mission and show you what you're still capable of building. 90 days from now, you're either further in or you're in exactly the same place. That's the only choice on the table. Step 1, look back at your career. What parts did you love? Which problems did you solve that nobody else could? Write those things down. Plenty of guys are sitting on a gold mine of experience and they don't even know it. Step 2, pick one small way to offer your best stuff to someone who needs it. Mentoring, writing, volunteering 1 morning a week, teaching a skill. Doesn't have to be big, it just has to start. Step 3, give it structure. 1 morning a week, phone call, 1 page. Pick one, put it on the calendar. Consistency, it beats intensity. A mission without structure is good intention, and good intentions don't survive retirement. Step 4, this is the one that ties the whole 90 days together. Score it on the mission matrix. To judge yourself, it's to calibrate. Under 12 after 30 days, pivot without guilt. 15 or higher, double down hard. The matrix is a compass, not a performance review, and it only works if you're honest with it. Here's the permission slip. You don't have to be good at it yet. You just have to care enough to start. When I started guitar, I sounded terrible, but I cared, and that caring created momentum where none existed before. Momentum creates mission. Now, I know you're thinking that I'm too old. You're starting from experience, not zero. That's like starting a race at the 50-yard line. The only thing standing between you and your next mission is the story you've been told about what this chapter is supposed to look like. Here's the trick. Your first goal should feel almost stupidly small. Just to walk around the block, drum 3 chords, write 1 paragraph, call 1 person. Make the barrier so low, your brain just can't say no. There's no embarrassment in small steps. They're the foundation of every mission. So do me a favor, pick one thing this week, schedule it, and show up. Give it a month. Watch what happens when your calendar has one anchor that matters more than another empty afternoon. Remember, retirement doesn't take away your stress, it takes away your structure. Build a new one around energy, contribution, growth, and structure. If this resonated, hit subscribe and come join Still Standing, a community of people who refuse to just drift into their next chapter. Next week, we're going to break down the micro goal system that keeps me moving every single day, because a mission without a system is just a wish. I'll see you then.